The rain hammered the cracked sidewalk like a broken heart pounding beneath a brittle chest. He never imagined that a single act of kindness in a crowded diner would rewrite the story of his life. And when she finally broke her silence, the note she handed him was a truth neither of them saw coming. Introduction and setup. The evening air was thick with the scent of wet asphalt and burnt coffee, the city's restless pulse echoing faintly beneath the low hum of neon signs. Inside the small diner on 5th and Main, the warmth was a fragile bubble against the creeping cold outside. The smell of frying onions mingled with the faint aroma of stale cigarettes, a comforting yet bittersweet perfume. At the center of this modest sanctuary worked Daniel, a waiter whose life was stitched together with long shifts, empty pockets, and a quiet desperation only few could see. His hands, calloused from years of balancing trays and folding menus, trembled slightly as he wiped down the cracked tabletop near the window. Daniel's eyes were weary. Dark circles marked the soft skin beneath, a testament to sleepless nights filled with worry and regret. His worn shoes scuffed the linoleum floor, each step a rhythm of exhaustion. The old silver watch strapped to his wrist had stopped ticking long ago, a silent relic from better days, now useless yet too precious to discard. He dreamed of more. Of a life where bills didn't whisper threats and where hope wasn't just a word read in borrowed books. But tonight, like every night, his world was the diner, the customers, and the fleeting moments of small joy found in genuine smiles. Conflict or challenge introduced, it was just after 8 when she walked in. She was a quiet shadow slipping through the door, her presence barely disturbing the steady clatter of dishes and murmured conversations. Her coat was threadbare, soaked from the rain, clinging to her fragile frame like a second skin. Her hair, dark and tangled, framed a face pale as moonlight, with eyes that held storms of silence. No words came from her lips as she took a seat. In the corner booth, her hands folded tightly on the table, trembling just enough to betray the stillness she fought to maintain. Daniel noticed immediately there was something fragile, almost sacred about her quietude, a silence heavier than the chair she sat in. After a moment of hesitation, he approached with a gentle smile, careful not to startle. "Can I get you something warm?" he asked, softly. Her eyes flicked up, meeting his for the briefest second before retreating. No answer. He nodded, undeterred. "Coffee? Tea? Whatever you want on the house." She didn't speak, but she didn't refuse either. He walked away to fetch a cup of hot coffee, its steam curling like a fragile promise. When he returned, he placed the cup carefully before her. She lifted her hands, fingers trembling as they closed around the warm mug. For a moment, Daniel thought she might break. The hours pass. Building connection. Through silence. 3 hours in that dimly lit diner passed like a lifetime. Daniel kept glancing over, watching as she sipped slowly, never raising her eyes again. The bustle of the other customers faded into a muted backdrop, the small world between them expanding in quiet tension. Every so often, she traced the rim of her cup with a finger, her eyes fixed on the dark liquid as if reading secrets in its depths. Daniel, busy but attentive, found himself drawn into the silence, the story waiting just beneath the surface, locked away like a precious secret. Between trays and orders, Daniel's mind wandered to his own lost dreams, to the mother he hadn't spoken to in years, to the missed chances that haunted his nights. There was a strange kinship he felt with this silent woman, a shared loneliness that needed no words. At one point, she pulled a small, crumpled photo from inside her coat pocket and set it gently on the table, almost hidden beneath her sleeve. Daniel noticed it just as he passed. It was a picture of a little girl, smiling brightly, held in the arms of a man whose face was worn but loving. Daniel's heart clenched. Something about that image was achingly familiar. Midpoint revelation, or twist near closing time, as the diner's chatter thinned and the neon lights outside buzzed softly, the woman finally reached into her bag again. This time she pulled out a small folded piece of paper and slid it across the table toward Daniel. Her hands shook as she looked up, eyes locking with his in a rare, vulnerable moment. "Read it," she whispered. The first and only words she spoke all night. With trembling fingers, Daniel unfolded the note. The handwriting was shaky but clear. It read, "Daniel, I'm your sister. You don't know me yet, but I've watched you from afar for years. I was the little girl in the photo. Your father's daughter too, but taken away by secrets and silence. I've been waiting for the courage to reach out to find you. Tonight, I hope this note changes everything. Lena." Daniel's breath caught in his throat. The world tilted on its axis. The woman before him, silent, fragile, mysterious, was family. Blood. Years of questions, pain, and longing burst open in a flood he hadn't dared to imagine. Climax. Emotional breakthrough. The diner faded into a blur as Daniel struggled to process the revelation. "I'm your brother," he finally said, voice thick with disbelief and hope. Lena nodded, tears spilling free at last, carving paths down cheeks pale and worn. Her silence was no longer a barrier, but a bridge. He reached out, trembling, and took her hands in his. The warmth between them was electric, a balm to wounds long ignored. "You're not broken," Daniel whispered. "You're becoming." In that moment, the weight of years, the abandonment, the loss, the loneliness, began to lift. Two souls once strangers, now reunited, began to heal. Resolution and quiet closure. The dawn seeped softly through the diner's rain-speckled windows, bathing the room in pale gold. The city outside awoke, unaware of the quiet miracle that had unfolded within. Daniel and Lena sat side by side, two broken pieces mended by fragile hope. No grand declarations, no sweeping promises, just the soft, steady pulse of connection. As the first sunbeam caught the silver watch on Daniel's wrist, it began to tick again, a symbol that sometimes life waits silently for the right moment to start anew. Call to action for YouTube. If this story touched your heart, consider subscribing for more inspiring tales of hope, healing, and unexpected kindness. Hit the like button and share this with someone who needs it today.